Hey, good morning. Welcome to another episode of The American Dream. I'm your host, Craig Sewing, and your consumer activist. Thanks for joining me. We've taken some time off. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of our reruns. I've seen your activity online, and I love it, and I appreciate it. Feel like I haven't been here in quite some time, so we got a great show. It's going to be really positioned around consumer advocacy, giving you advice on the market, your tax planning, your real estate today. So we're going to really give you some advice, some action items. Big show coming up. Let's get it started right now. Every single day, you are consumed with information. With the 24/7 negative news cycle and the pop culture that's polluting the airwaves, all selling out for the ratings game. Well, guess what? There's a more positive way to look at life. You live in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. And every day with our elite network of professionals, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage. And now it's time to fight for your American dream. All right, now for the Sewing Says segment, the Trump rally, they're calling it. The market is hitting all-time highs, which I find pretty fascinating. So is it Trump or is it the economy? One of the most interesting things about all of this is that the market was crushed when we learned that Donald Trump won the election. And then all of a sudden the next day, the market went up. So really fascinating from the get-go of him being elected. Now the question is what's going to happen from here? So why is the market up? Let me give you the why behind the market. For some reason, people are finding some certainty in him as president, which is not really to be expected. But with his appointments, with, I think, his demeanor, it's calmed down a little bit since the campaign season. The market has found some certainty, and the market likes certainty. So you've seen the market move up. But here's the other side of the coin. You got to keep in mind, it's Donald Trump. So you are going to see some uncertainty. There's going to be things that he says, that he does, people that he appoints that will create uncertainty in the market. So here's what I can tell you will happen. You will see an inconsistent market. I would not watch your retirement on a day-to-day because it's going to make you ill. So expect uncertainty coming up soon. This is going to affect the market. On real estate, it's also going to affect interest rates. There's going to be very volatile times when you lock your rate on a home purchase or a refinance. Very, very important. You're working with a financial professional and a mortgage professional that can guide you on locking in. So looking forward, I expect some volatility, which is normal. That's great for traders. But I don't care if you're a millennial and you're just getting started. Get a financial review. Get someone to get you started on the right track right now. The sooner you start, the more you can get ahead of the game. Or if you're a little bit higher in age and you're a baby boomer, expect that volatility. Get a financial review. Ask your financial advisor some tough questions. What happens if interest rates go up? What happens if there is uncertainty? Are we hedged against inflation? If Trump starts moving jobs back to the U.S., it's a great thing, right? There's jobs, but it could increase prices, become inflationary, devalue the dollar. So a great financial advisor, a great financial review is probably a smart thing to do right now. So is it a Trump rally or an economic rally? Nobody knows. Anybody who claims to know is just blowing hot air. But it always makes sense to take action now on the things you can control. A financial review, in my opinion, is the smartest thing you can do right now. Connect with your financial advisor. By the way, we have partners that are financial advisors that would love to help you. They waive everything. It's a complimentary review. All you got to do is reach out to me at craigsewing.com. Hit the contact form, and I will happily introduce you to mine. So that is the word on the American Dream and the Sewing Says. Coming up next, we will be bringing in our first guest as I focus on consumer advocacy today. Let's get started. And what a great segue from the Sewing Says segment to focusing on the things you can control. And there's really nobody better than that than our good friend Doug Jennings, who can help you grab a hold of your tax plan, your estate plan. These are things you can work on today no matter what the market does. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Craig.
Well, you've been doing this radio, TV thing with me for a while, and you don't have a shortage of opinions. So I do want to ask you about the economy before we dive into that big folder you got there. Trump economy. Is it Trump or is it the economy?
Let's go back to 17 Republicans and 4 Democrats, and you asked me who was going to win.
Were you a Trump guy from the word go?
I was Trump and Ben Carson and Carly Fiorina. All 3 were not politicians. And I felt in my heart that this country wanted to have a change. They wanted to get rid of the graft and corruption of big government. And the difference is capitalism on the one hand and socialism on the other. And all the countries that have socialism, they shoot people trying to escape it. And those people that have capitalism, we build walls also, but if you capture a person sneaking into our country, ask them, why are you doing it? To get away from socialism. So I never...
Which you're referencing Cuba.
Yeah. And that really, it hurts me when I see the people in the United States glorify Fidel Castro. This man was corrupt. He was worth $1 billion. He was actually worth $900 million.
Yep.
But he owned 51% of every business. He suppressed the people. He didn't liberate them. And so our country was founded in 1776. Faith, family, freedom. And I would like to be the first person to wish you a Merry Christmas with the emphasis on Christmas, because we need to keep God in the forefront. And I think the people of this country are saying, can we put God back into our schools and our economy and our civilization? Let's understand where we all came from. Then we want to go back to the fact that from 1776 until 1913, we never had an income tax in this country and became the strongest country to ever inhabit the planet Earth, let alone the greatest freedoms. Everyone in the world would like to be like us. Well, we didn't do it with socialism.
Well, there's a lot to chew on there. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to those who don't celebrate Christmas, as we are a country that's freedom of religion.
That's right.
On the economy, you mentioned socialism, right? So, you know, Cuba is a pretty dramatic example of it. But then you look at places in Europe, Greece, where 2 years ago maybe, you couldn't even pull money out of the ATM. At some point in time, you run out of money.
The government actually in Greece swept, I don't recall the amount, maybe 10 to 15% of everyone's savings account was swept by Greece because they needed to pay their bills. That's socialism.
Yeah, I don't know if people really realize what ultimately happens by a growing government debt, and our deficit continues to grow. I think people are maybe a little distraught about capitalism because of what we saw when the market crashed. A lot of bad guys kind of had the golden handcuffs, golden parachute, and didn't get in trouble. I'm a big free market capitalist guy, but you got to punish the bad guys, and that's to me one of the biggest disturbing things that we've seen that have really deteriorated what people think about a free marketplace and smaller government. Is that there's greed. Of course, greed could be a rich thing. It could be there's broke people that are greedy. But a properly regulated capitalistic system where you punish bad guys, I think we'd get a lot more people on that bandwagon. But do you think this reaction in the market going up, do you think it's a result of Trump?
I do, totally.
Certainty from him?
I think it's Trump because they believe that he's a man of his word. He's going to make things happen. That's why he's been so successful in the first place. And I would like to leave the personalities out of the equation. It is really the great mass of people in this country, the people that have families, the poor working mothers with 2 or 3 kids, that they're all saying, we need jobs. We need an economy that we can believe in. And then there are the wealthy investors that have been on the sidelines unwilling to invest because they are concerned that it'll just be taken from them.
Well, there's a lot of negativity around this whole thing right now. The truth is at this point in time, you got to be optimistic. Even if you didn't vote for the guy, you have to be optimistic. And I'm hoping that it's the lower class and the middle class that are pleasantly surprised by what a growing marketplace can mean. When we're arguing things like minimum wage, if jobs are being created, wages can go up anyway without government mandate. So I'm hopeful. We'll see in 2017. It should be interesting.
I am confident. I am so excited about the direction of our country at this time.
We shall see. So one of the things I said earlier was we weren't going to talk about the volatility of the market because I want to focus on the things you can control. Market seems to be doing well. But you guide people on lowering their tax liability in a legal, moral, and ethical way. We're going into the end of the year. I know you're a big proponent of making sure you do something now versus wait until April 15th. How important is that, whether you are just getting started on your income or you're somebody who has millions of dollars? How important is it that you start right now?
We have the honor of representing you, so you know our philosophy. I am president of Jennings Financial Group. Our firm coordinates lawyers and CPAs under one roof, and the key word is planning and design. We like to work with our clients early in the year so that at this point, as I head through the last days of December, we're just fine-tuning right now. But there are some listeners that haven't addressed their estates or their taxes, and the highest tax in the Internal Revenue Code is not while you're alive. It is when you die. So I just brought one thing along, and that is a living trust. Every single listener should have a living trust. If you're single, it will eliminate the first $5,450,000 of estate taxes. Otherwise, you get the pleasure of paying taxes at, it was 77% under Jimmy Carter, and currently Obama has it at 40%. So a living trust.
But even if you don't have that much money, the importance of a will, an estate plan, and a trust, I always think of that Terry Schiavo case where she fell downstairs and then she became a public story that was featured on all the mainstream media. It was an argument between her husband and her family, and it was awful. It was awful. And meanwhile, she's living on life support. And it's because I didn't have that in place. So it's not always a money thing. I mean, I think estate intimidates people when it's really just having a plan. It's the smartest thing you can do if you're over the age of 18. Is that?
It is 18. I have, as I told you at Thanksgiving, we had 37 people because Peg and I have 5 children and we have 10 grandchildren, and it adds up. When my grandchildren turn age 18, they all receive a living trust from me because I want them to have, number one, an advanced health care directive, because the Obama administration made it illegal for doctors and hospitals, forget money, made it illegal for doctors and hospitals to even release your records to someone unless you have a prior release called a HIPAA release.
Okay.
So there are 14 documents in this trust. And I just hope that...
Even at the age of 18, it's important.
I have a 21-year-old granddaughter that is, when she was 18, I did her trust, but she has a car, a checking account, and a savings account. Not very large estate, but she has a trust so that as she goes forward in life, she takes title to her assets in her living trust. And it avoids probate when she dies, conservatorships if she's injured, eliminates her death taxes, and protects her estate. That's the starting point.
Yep. Well, I want to give a gift out to our audience here today. First of all, I know that you offer a complimentary review of an estate plan, will, a trust, a tax review as well for our audience. You can connect with Doug. Visit me online at craigsowing.com. Hit the contact form. Also, I want to give that out, which is a document.
I have a question for you. You're a client of mine. I want to know, what is your favorite?
I know the answer.
What is your favorite vegetable?
It's corn.
And that is because if you have a business or you have a rental property or any type of income, then Internal Revenue Code Section 162 says all these expenses become deductible if they're customary, ordinary, reasonable, and necessary. So corn,
I always remember the corn. I just can't always remember the acronym.
It's okay. Yep. I have brought for you and your listeners that if they ask for it, we'll give them a free list of all these types of expenses that if they pay before December 31st, they get more deductions.
So I really want you to grab onto this one here. Everybody at the end of the year, you're thinking, oh, my cell phone bill, can I write off any space in my home, or travel, gas? Here's your list. You can basically do your CPA's job for them. If you text me corn, I will ask for your name and email. We'll email that to you. Text to 846-9333. Of course, that's a 619 area code. 846-9333. Text me corn. I want to give this out to anybody viewing today that wants to know what your tax write-offs can be. Doug Jennings, thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure.
Merry Christmas.
And
Happy
to you
New Year.
also.
All right, coming up next, we are going out into the field to visit Ross Rattray, top producing realtor out in North County. Great segment we shot out with Jen Morris. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Steve Madsen. My wife Debbie and I are the owners of this fabulous home in beautiful Coronado. We decided to put solar in the home because we wanted to have a smaller carbon footprint and we wanted to save some money. I'm a retired contractor and I've worked with Baker Electric in the past, so when I found out they had a solar division, I was ecstatic. They're a good company, got integrity, a good work ethic. I would definitely recommend Baker. My wife and I are extremely happy with what they've done for us.
We're in the beautiful community of Savannah in southeast Escondido in the San Pasqual Valley, and I am joined by elite real estate agent Ross Rattray. Thanks for having us here, Ross.
Hi, Jen. Welcome out to beautiful Escondido.
San Pasqual Valley.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this area.
Well, this is kind of a hidden gem in San Diego because it's close to San Diego, but it has a country feel. And I love it out here because it's country. The wild animal park's just a mile away from us. Yet we're still only 4 miles away from the 15 freeway, so easy access to come out to this location.
I mentioned that we are in the community of Savannah. Tell us a little bit about this small community. 26 homes?
Correct. 26 homes that was built here in about 1999-2000. And there's 2 different distinct streets here on cul-de-sacs. And most of the homes here provide some real nice views of the San Pasqual Valley. So it's really pretty out here. And people who want to get away a little bit and live on about an acre of land, this is where they come.
We are currently in the backyard of one of your listings, and you're talking about the views. We can literally see the hot air balloon from the Wild Animal Park going up and down from here.
Correct. So what's really neat about this property, just being a mile away from the Wild Animal Park, is that the owners of the property sometimes in the morning can hear the lions roaring when they're waking up and getting ready for breakfast. So you don't get that in every home in San Diego.
I was going to say, that makes this a pretty special home, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's fantastic. It's gorgeous out here. It's breathtaking.
To get into the community of Escondido a little bit more, I know that there's also a lot happening on Grand Avenue in the town of Escondido.
Correct. And so in Escondido, over the last 10 to 15 years, they've made so many improvements in the downtown area. They brought in major shopping areas, great restaurants, fantastic chefs of those restaurants. And so they've really changed the feel of Escondido to make it more attractive to people who want to experience all those wonderful things. So Escondido is no longer just a sleepy town up north of San Diego. There's a lot happening, and it's a great place to live.
There really is. Just driving up to this house today, I passed a couple of wineries.
Correct. The most famous one being the Orphelia Winery is just down the road a couple of miles. They've been here for a long time, well-established brand, but also other than Orphelia, a lot of wineries are locating into the Escondido area. Must be great for growing grapes out here.
Absolutely. Now, I know that every home really does tell a story, and the owners here are very special to the San Diego community. Tell us a little bit about your clients.
And exactly. Every house has a story, and every house that I sell, I enjoy learning about the house. This particular property is owned by Jim and Debbie Stirk, and Jim Stirk came to San Diego 7 years ago as the athletic director of San Diego State University. After 7 years of being the athletic director here, he did wonderful things, improved the program, made San Diego State competitive in all sports, and increased the number of graduations, GPA, fantastic things he did at San Diego State University. And him and his wife lived here and raised their 3 daughters over the past 7 years. And so recently, Mr. Stirk was given a great opportunity to be the athletic director at the University of Missouri, which is in the Southeast Conference, which is an amazing opportunity for their family. And so they recently moved to Missouri. This house sits on just a little over 1 acre of land. It's 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 3,153 square feet. And what's really nice is it sits on one single level, which is really desirable today. The cul-de-sac is beautiful here, everything you want in a nice luxury home. And it's priced very economically at $949,000.
Price to sell.
Price to sell.
Well, we hate to lose them, but what a wonderful opportunity for them, like you said.
Definitely. That's the premier conference in the country. To be an athletic director in that conference means that you must be pretty good at what you do.
Well, and as are you, Ross. And so many of your clients are really from word of mouth. You do develop such a special relationship with everybody.
Definitely. You know, in the real estate world, you're only as good as your reputation. And working with clients and taking care of them, doing a good job to sell their property, having good lines of communication, word spreads about that. And so I pride myself on the referrals that I get from my clients, friends, family, and so forth to build my business. And so it works, and I enjoy doing it.
And that's why when I come to visit you and we sit here and we do these interviews, we are all over San Diego County. You have listings everywhere. Exactly.
I'll be over on the coast. I'll be in Encinitas, La Jolla, Poway, Escondido. Wherever my clients want me to go, I end up going for them. And I enjoy moving around a bit.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, now that 2016 is wrapping up, we're approaching the holidays here. Tell us how this year has been for you and what you're projecting for 2017.
Sure. Well, 2016 has been a really good year for real estate. Okay, we had all the economic factors in our favor, low interest rates, low unemployment. So the economy has been good this year, and I project that the same thing is going to happen for next year. I don't think the interest rates are going to go up very much, maybe a little bit, and there's still a lot of buyers out there looking for houses. So I think 2017 is going to be a great year for real estate, and people looking for great houses like this one we'll have opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, great news ending 2016. Thank you so much, Ross.
Thank you for coming out to Savannah.
We were just speaking with elite real estate agent Ross Rattray with Elite Homes San Diego. He shared with us the beauty of San Pasqual Valley, the close proximity to the Wild Animal Park, and all of the wineries in this area. He also shared with us this gorgeous community of Savannah. I'm Jen Morris for the American Group.
Hi, my name is Chuck Cassidy. I live in the Meadowview area of Temecula, and I chose Baker Electric Solar. Everybody and his brother is selling and installing solar these days, and you really have no way of knowing, are you going to get what you pay for? My electric bill has been in the minus every month for the past 2 years. Very few things in life these days come out the way you want. This was one of them.
All right, welcome back to the show. You've always heard me say that the real estate market is a relationship-driven business, but it's also a family-oriented business. And joining us in studio, of course, Tim Skoglin. You want to introduce the young man on your left, on my right here?
My son Blake, yes.
The little athlete, the all-star. You just finished football season?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
We were the Lions, but we made it to
You're the Lions?
We made it to second round in the playoffs to lose to who do we? Oh, the Jags.
The Jags?
Jags,
Well,
yeah.
that's a good team, I heard.
Yeah.
You learn from failures. You learn from losses.
Yeah.
But now you're in basketball season. Mm-hmm. So what's up? Are you guys good?
We haven't started. All I've done is the tryouts.
In what position do you play?
I want to play point. Well, we all alternate, so I want to be point guard.
Point guard's a good spot.
Point guard.
You got to work on your crossover dribble if you're going to play point guard. Are you a good shooter?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's left-handed, so
Good spot for you.
at this point it helps because everybody's used to going with righties.
Yeah.
The majority, I think we had 2 lefties out of the whole tryout, so.
Stay
Yeah.
stay
was
point
good.
guard, shooting guard. You got a big career ahead of you.
Yeah.
Glad you brought him in. This is the
Yeah.
second time you're a repeat offender now. Last
Second
time you
time.
came in, talked about the market a little bit. How is the market?
Market's good. I think
I didn't
post-election.
open house.
You did?
Yeah, once and so long ago. So here's what happened. I went to.
Did he sell the deal?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
cheating.
He's doing good.
Bringing your kid. You bring your puppy too?
No, I was in shorts and a t-shirt, like any Under Armour or anything, in flip-flops, because I was going to go to my Nana and Grandpa's house. And I was walking over just to say bye to Dad. And when we got there, just a landslide.
Next thing you know, you're in the deal. Well, you look slick
Came.
today. Next time you do one, you should dress like that.
He did. He did one down in Stonecrest dressed like this over the summer. Got everybody to sign in. Gave him a walking tour of the property. So he's doing good, helping out with some open houses.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, and I love that you bring him in because it's a lot of fun, but you really genuinely have built your business kind of as a family-oriented business, which is unique to real estate. Your wife, Christine, is in the business with
Yeah.
you. There's so many successful agents out there, but their success is derived by having a lot of agents and vendors attachments. You control everything that happens. You've been doing this 21 now?
We're over 21. So
Yeah, so I got to update my
22.
language with you. You've been on this show
Yeah.
for years.
Thank
So
you.
21, 22 years you've been doing this. It's always been a family-oriented business, but you're also helping a lot of other families. You have marketing pieces that go out to your micro markets that show family testimonials. So
Yeah.
Explain how you're helping families now.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's a true epitome of the family-owned business. So Christine's doing better every year. Having children certainly took her away from the marketplace for a little bit, and she was more behind the scenes doing marketing and helping her mom, who does our books. So
Oh, wow.
getting even more of the family involved.
Mom's on the
now
books.
We have Blake helping with open houses and showings sometimes. So, but I think just as when we were on stage at the convention center this past year, relating the business to people when they are referred to someone, a doctor or an attorney or somebody that's that intimate relationship, when you're referred, working with the actual person, not being passed down to a less experienced minion in a team.
Or a system.
Or,
Well, I mean, you got to processes, obviously, but
for sure.
There's a difference between working with somebody versus feeling like you're tied into a CRM, getting automatic emails and
Right.
spam. So you've always been really hands-on, and that's one of the reasons I've always appreciated your opinion of the actual market. You're always really detail-oriented. You can kind of get into the nitty-gritty. So at the end of the year, there's a lot of questions about the market. Are we overheating? Are we bubbly? Are we softening? So let me ask you, how do you think 2016 will go down in history as far as a year for real estate? And then I'd love to hear you project 2017. So let's start with this year.
Yeah, this year was very, tide was in and out. I think with some uncertainty about the election results, And
do the election results change anything in your opinion?
I think at this point there's some things locally that will be beneficial. I mean, from what Trump has said, he wants to put a lot of money back into military, both veteran side and active duty. So given our ties to military and what that means to our city, that'll
makes
help.
sense.
But views on NAFTA and some of the things with foreign trade being on the Pacific side of the country could impact our overall expenses, which are already pretty high for food and gasoline and other household
and interest
goods.
rates.
And rates.
Interest rates are incredibly volatile right now. You know, one of the things that I think is really important for our audience to know is timing your lock. I think is going to be more important now than ever because, you know, it's like the market's gone up, which I think it's gone up because Trump has kind of calmed it down a little bit. So they're finding certainty in him. But he's going to have very uncertain moments, and that's going to cause interest rates to move a lot. So if you're in the process of buying or refinancing, really make sure you're working with a great mortgage banking expert. Lock in properly. 2017, it's tough to predict. You didn't bring a crystal ball, but if you had to just use all your years of experience to give us an outlook, what would you say?
When you study and look at what happens during an election year, it creates a bit of a freeze. So you do see, even in strong market times, where that 4-year mark comes along and puts a damper on activity and appreciation just because of uncertainty. Afterwards, if you study and look at what's happened historically, the market's actually taken an uptick the year after the election results are announced. And we've seen, even in the last few weeks since the election, we've seen that the multiple offers are back, activity is good, homes that were sitting around a bit we're getting a lot of calls on. I've got a place in UTC in the Renaissance, small condo, but we're pushing value and we have multiple offers. We had 4 offers.
So there's still activity even this time of year.
And we're getting hammered. We got 2 open houses this weekend. We had 40, 50 people show up to a few hours of open house work.
So you got to get ready to work, Blake.
Yeah.
You going to work those open houses?
Get his name tag on and get to work.
All right, if we're making predictions, who's going to win the Super Bowl this year?
The Ravens.
The Ravens?
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to have a big comeback. I don't know if they're doing that well, are they?
Yeah, they are. They're first in their division.
Are they?
Yes.
That's why we bring the expert. I don't know.
Yes, they are. They
Okay,
have
another
Eric
prediction.
Weddle.
Are the Chargers going to stay in San Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You were right about that last year. Remember we talked about this? You said you didn't think they were going to move, so that was a really good insight.
All right, man.
Good.
Blake, good to have you on the show. Keep up. You're a future All-Star in San Diego. Padres, Chargers. We don't have a basketball team, but maybe by the time you grow up, we'll have
We
one.
had the Warriors. I like the Warriors. My favorite player on the Warriors is Stephen Curry.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
SkoglinRealEstate.com.
Yeah,
Tim, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having us.
You bet.
Good to see you.
All right, coming up next, we're going to close this thing up. Stick around. You're watching The American Dream. All right, that's all for today's show. I want to remind you my #1 job is not just to be a consumer advocate, but a consumer activist. That means I'm not just informing you, but I want you to do something about it. We talked about the market, tax planning, estate planning, mortgage, real estate. If you need guidance, if you want an introduction, craigsewing.com. Follow us on social media. We're out for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers to your American Dream.